Commander Vex Tora slithered across the bridge of the Dominion flagship, the Annihilator, his 7 eyes scanning the tactical display with smug satisfaction. The human outpost on Proxima B looked pathetically small against the backdrop of our massive fleet. 50 warships against one tiny outpost. This would be the easiest conquest in the glorious history of the Zelaxian Empire. Status report, I demanded, adjusting my ceremonial medals. As First Lieutenant Krasnol, I had the honor of documenting this historic moment for our Emperor. The human outpost has minimal defenses, sir. Our scans show only 32 humans present. Their weaponry is primitive, replied Science Officer Plexmara, her tentacles flickering with amusement. They haven't even detected our approach yet. The bridge crew erupted in laughter. Humans. The galaxy's newest spacefaring species, barely a century into interstellar travel and already trying to establish outposts in our territory. The audacity. The foolishness. Commander Vex Tora raised a scaled appendage for silence. Let's not underestimate them. Remember what happened to the Grox-Thar fleet last solar cycle. A hushed silence fell over the bridge. Nobody liked to talk about the Grox-Thar incident. An entire battle group destroyed by a single human vessel. But that was different, we assured ourselves. That was in deep space. This was a stationary outpost with nowhere to run. Commence the attack, Commander Vex Tora ordered. Standard annihilation protocol. The first wave of our fighters descended upon the human outpost like hungry predators. I watched from my console, already drafting the victory announcement in my mind. The words, swift and merciless, featured prominently. Sir. Communications Officer Zalthar suddenly shouted, his voice cracking with confusion. The humans are responding. Of course they are responding, Commander Vex Tora snapped. They are being attacked. No, sir. I mean they are sending us a message. Audio only. Oh. The commander flicked his tail impatiently. Put it through. A voice filled our bridge, speaking in perfect Zelaxian, which was surprising enough. But it was the tone that froze my blood. Casual. Almost bored. Hey there, big scary alien Armada. This is Jake. Just Jake. No fancy title because, well, Earth bureaucracy is worse than any alien invasion. Anyway, I see you have brought 50 ships to attack our little science outpost. That seems a bit excessive. Doesn't it? Like bringing a nuclear warhead to a pillow fight. The bridge crew exchanged bewildered glances. Who was this, just Jake? And why did he sound so unconcerned? You have 10 minutes to surrender before we obliterate your outpost, Commander Vex Tora replied, trying to regain control of the situation. Yeah, about that, the human replied, and I swear I could hear him yawning. I'm actually in the middle of my coffee break, so that doesn't really work for me. How about you turn those fancy ships around, and we will pretend this never happened. Commander Vex Tora's scales flushed purple with rage. Insolent human. Do you have any idea who you are speaking to? Let me guess. Big bad commander of a species that thinks size and numbers mean everything? Got a name that sounds like someone sneezed while saying it? Vex something? The commander nearly choked. How do you know my name? Oh, I don't, Jake replied cheerfully. Just playing the odds. You guys really need to get more creative with your naming conventions. Anyway, my coffee's getting cold, so I will make this quick. You have 2 options, leave now or deal with me. And trust me, none of you want to deal with me before I have finished my coffee. The transmission cut off, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Sir, Weapons Officer Dreknar finally spoke. The first wave of fighters has reached the target. They are beginning their attack run. Commander Vex Tora shook off his confusion. Excellent. Let's see how brave this just Jake is when his home is reduced to ash. We watched on the view screen as our fighters circled the human outpost, unleashing a barrage of plasma torpedoes. The outpost's shields flared blue, absorbing the initial impacts, but they wouldn't last long against our firepower. This won't take long, I remarked to Science Officer Plexmara. She nodded, but there was an uneasiness in her posture. That human knew the commander's name. How is that possible? Before I could respond, Weapons Officer Drek Nar cried out in alarm. Sir, we have lost contact with Strike Group Alpha. What? Commander Vextora whirled around. How? Unknown, sir? They just disappeared. On the tactical display, 6 red dots representing our fighters had vanished without a trace. No distress signals, no explosion markers, just gone. Launch the second wave, Commander Vextora ordered, his voice tight, and scan for cloaked defenses. Yes, sir. Science Officer Plex Mara bent over her console, her tentacles flying across the controls. No cloaked defenses detected, sir. But I am picking up something strange. There's a human life sign outside the outpost. Outside? In space? I asked, incredulously. No, Lieutenant. On the surface. About half a kilometer from the outpost. Moving quickly. Another transmission came through. That same infuriating human voice. So, I put down my coffee to take a little stroll. And what do I see? Some very expensive-looking alien fighters blowing up. Tragic, really. All those flight school hours wasted. By the way, your second wave is about to have a really bad day. As if on cue, alarms blared across our bridge. Strike Group Beta reports they are being targeted by ground-based weapons. Dreknar shouted. They can't evade. We have lost 3 more fighters. On the view screen, I watched in horror as our fighters exploded one after another, struck by pinpoint laser fire from the planet's surface. Where are those shots coming from? Commander Vextora demanded, pounding his command console with a scaled fist. Science Officer Plex Mara looked up, her eyes wide with disbelief. The human life sign, sir. The one outside the outpost. He's using a handheld weapon. Impossible. No handheld weapon could target and destroy spacecraft in orbit. And yet we all watched as another fighter erupted in flames, debris scattering across Proxima B's thin atmosphere. Sir, Communications Officer Zalthar interrupted. We are being hailed again. Put it through, Commander Vextora hissed. Hey, it's me again, came that maddeningly casual voice. Look, not to be rude, but these fighters of yours are cluttering up my nice view. I'm trying to enjoy the scenery while I finish my coffee, you know? How are you doing this? Commander Vextora demanded. Doing what? Jake asked innocently. Oh, you mean shooting down your fighters? It's nothing special. Just a little toy I have been working on. Unfortunately for you, today was the test day. No human technology is capable of this, I interjected. Well, aren't you the expert on human technology? Lieutenant, I'm going to guess. Kraz something? I felt my blood freeze. How did he know my rank? My name? Name. Tell you what, Jake continued. Since you seem like a curious bunch, I will give you a demonstration of what else this toy can do. Look at your nearest moon. Despite myself, I glanced at the view screen, where Proxima B's small moon was visible in the background. There was a flash of light from the planet's surface so quick I almost missed it. Then, to our collective horror, a massive chunk of the moon simply vanished, vaporized. A perfect circular hole, at least 10 kilometers in diameter, had been carved through the celestial body. The bridge erupted in chaos. Officers shouting, screens flashing warnings, Commander Vextora bellowing for silence. That's not possible, Science Officer Plex Mara whispered beside me, her tentacles trembling. The energy requirements alone would be. Impressive, right? Jake's voice cut through the pandemonium. Now, imagine what that would do to one of your big ships. Or, hey, I don't know, maybe all 50 of them at once? Commander Vextora regained his composure with visible effort. You are bluffing. That weapon can't possibly target multiple ships simultaneously. Want to bet? Actually, I should warn you, I'm really good at poker too. Another human game you guys should look into before trying to invade us again. Sir, Weapons Officer Dreknar interrupted. The outpost's shields just went down. For a moment, hope flickered in Commander Vex Tora's eyes. Launch the third wave. Target the outpost directly. But, sir, the human with the weapon is just one human. The outpost is vulnerable. Strike now. The third wave of fighters descended toward the now shieldless outpost, weapons charged. Oh, come on, Jake's voice sighed over the comms. Now you are just being stubborn. What happened next defied explanation. The fighters didn't explode. They simply stopped, hung in midair, suspended as if time itself had frozen around them. Fun fact about humans, Jake continued conversationally. We get really cranky when our coffee breaks are interrupted. Another fun fact, this toy of mine doesn't just destroy things. It can also manipulate gravitational fields. Your pilots are currently experiencing what we call a really bad day at the office. On the tactical display, the fighters began to move again, not toward the outpost, but toward each other. Slowly at first, then with increasing speed, as if pulled by an invisible force. No, no, Commander Vex Tora screamed as we watched all 12 fighters collide in a catastrophic mid-air pileup, erupting into a fireball that lit up the planet's atmosphere. Sir, Science Officer Plex Mara said, her voice barely audible, I have completed my analysis of the human weapon. It's unlike anything in our database. The energy readings suggest technology at least 300 cycles beyond our own. That's impossible, I whispered. Humans are primitives. They have barely mastered interstellar travel. Are you still there, Alien Armada? Jake's voice returned, sounding genuinely curious. I hope I didn't scare you off already. We are just getting to the fun part. Commander Vex Tora straightened his posture, his natural pride warring with newfound caution. What do you want, human? Oh, now you are asking what I want. Progress. Let's see, I want you to leave. I want you to tell whoever sent you that Earth's outposts are off limits. And I want you to spread the word that humans don't appreciate uninvited guests with plasma torpedoes. And if we refuse? Commander Vex Tora asked, though his voice lacked its earlier conviction. Then I finish my coffee, step outside again, and see how many of your big ships I can turn into modern art before dinner time. Your call, Commander Vex whatever. The bridge fell silent as every officer turned to look at Commander Vex Tora. In all my cycles of service, I had never seen our mighty commander look uncertain. But now his scales had paled to a sickly gray. Sir, I ventured cautiously, perhaps a strategic withdrawal would be. A single human, Commander Vex Tora muttered. A single human with a weapon that can punch through a moon. If I may, Sir, Science Officer Plex Mara interjected, our mission parameters included assessing human capabilities. I believe we have gathered significant data. The commander nodded slowly. Recall all remaining fighters. Prepare the fleet for immediate withdrawal. Relief washed over the bridge, though no one dared express it openly. A wise decision. Vex Tora, Jake's voice came through once more. By the way, before you go, you should know something. I'm not special. I'm not even the best we have. I'm just the guy who drew the short straw for outpost duty this month. Think about that on your long journey home. As our mighty armada turned and prepared to jump to hyperspace, I couldn't help but look back at the tiny outpost on the view screen. Somewhere down there was a single human, probably still sipping his coffee, who had just humiliated the pride of the Zelaxian fleet. Lieutenant Krasnul, Commander Vex Tora addressed me quietly. When you prepare your report for the Emperor, make it clear, we need to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about humans. I nodded solemnly, already dreading the task. How does one explain to an emperor that his glorious armada retreated from a single human with a coffee habit? As our ships accelerated away from Proxima B, one final transmission came through. By the way, aliens, we should do this again sometime. Next time, bring more ships. This was barely enough for a decent target practice run. And that's when I knew, with absolute certainty, that the galaxy would never be the same again. Humans had arrived, and they were nothing like we had expected. The journey back to Zelaxian space was the longest of my life. Our magnificent fleet, pride of the Empire, slinking away like wounded prey. The silence on the bridge was suffocating. No one dared speak of our humiliation at the hands of a single coffee-drinking human. First Lieutenant Krasnul, Commander Vex Tora, finally broke the silence as we entered our home system 3 days later. Your report for the Emperor. Is it complete? I swallowed nervously. Yes, Commander. Though I fear his luminescence will find it difficult to believe. As do I, Lieutenant. As do I. The Emperor's reaction exceeded our worst fears. His 16-foot frame towered over the throne room as he hurled a ceremonial spear that narrowly missed Commander Vex Tora's head. 50 warships, Emperor Zul Garoth roared, his massive tail smashing against the marble floor. 50 of my finest warships retreated from one human? This is either treason or incompetence, Commander. Neither is acceptable. Commander Vex Tora prostrated himself. Your Luminescence, I have brought Science Officer Plex Mara to explain the technological disparity we encountered. The Emperor's rage barely dimmed as he turned his 7 eyes toward Plex Mara. Explain. She stepped forward, tentacles trembling. Your Magnificence, our analysis confirms the human weapon operates on principles we have only theorized. It manipulates gravitational fields with precision we cannot match and generates energy outputs that should require a power source the size of a small moon. And yet the Emperor hissed. This weapon was handheld, operated by a single human? Yes, Your Luminescence. Our intelligence on human technological capabilities was severely outdated. The Emperor sank back onto his throne, his scales shifting from rage purple to contemplative blue. These humans. They are more dangerous than we thought. Far more, I added, immediately regretting speaking out of turn. But the Emperor merely nodded. Show me this human, this Jake. Plex Mara activated a holographic display, showing footage captured from our ships. A lone figure stood outside the outpost, casually pointing what looked like a small metal tube toward our fighters. The image zoomed in to reveal a human male, unremarkable by their species standards. Average height, brown hair, wearing a simple gray uniform with no insignia or rank markers, and in his other hand, inexplicably, a steaming beverage container. This is what defeated my Armada. The Emperor's voice was dangerously quiet. Your Luminescence, Commander Vex Tora ventured, I believe we should consider a diplomatic approach. If the humans possess such technology, silence. The Emperor surged to his feet. The Zelaxian Empire does not negotiate with lesser species. We conquer, we dominate, we rule. He turned to his High General, Drax Vaughn, who had been watching silently from the shadows. Prepare the extinction fleet. The room fell deathly silent. The extinction fleet had not been deployed in 3 centuries, not since the obliteration of the Centaurian collective. Your Luminescence, Commander Vex Tora protested. With respect, if one human with one weapon could defeat 50 ships, then we will send 500. The Emperor cut him off. With planet killers. This outpost, this Proxima B, will be reduced to atoms. And you, Commander, will lead the assault. Redeem yourself or do not return. 7 solar days later, we approached Proxima B once more. But this time we came with the full might of the Zelaxian Empire. 500 warships, including 10 planet killers, massive vessels capable of cracking a world's crust with a single shot. I stood on the bridge of the Annihilator once more, but now as acting commander. Vex Tora had been demoted to my former position as punishment for our previous failure. The humiliation had broken him, his once proud posture now permanently stooped. Acting Commander Krasnul, High General Drax Vaughn addressed me from the command ship via hologram. Your orders are simple. Approach Proxima B, deploy the planet killers at maximum range, and fire simultaneously. No communications, no warnings, no chance for that human to use his weapon. Understood, High General, I replied, though a knot of dread tightened in my stomach. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Proxima system. Immediately, our sensors began scanning for the human outpost. Sir, the new science officer, Trell Vorks, called out in confusion. The outpost, it's gone. Gone? I moved to his station. Destroyed? No, sir. There's no debris, no radiation signature indicating an attack, but it's simply not there anymore. The entire installation has vanished. A cold feeling spread through my body. Scan for human life signs on the surface. Trell Vorks manipulated the controls. None detected, sir. However, I am detecting one human life sign, in orbit. In orbit? In what vessel? That's just it, sir. There's no vessel. Just the life sign. Put it on screen, I ordered, my mouth suddenly dry. The view screen activated, zooming in on a point in space above Proxima b. There, floating without any visible means of support or life support equipment, was the human. He appeared to be sitting in. Nothing. An invisible chair, perhaps, and in his hand was that same beverage container. You, sir, communications officer Jex Lara said, her voice tight with fear. We are receiving a transmission. I ordered no communications, I hissed. We are not initiating it, sir. It's coming from him. Before I could respond, that now familiar voice filled our bridge. Well, look who came back with reinforcements. I'm genuinely flattered, guys. 500 ships? For little old me? You shouldn't have. I swallowed hard. Open a channel. Sir? Jex Lara looked at me in shock. The High General ordered. Open the channel, I repeated firmly. When the line was open, I spoke with all the authority I could muster. This is Acting Commander Kraz Newell of the Zelaxian Extinction Fleet. Your outpost has been evacuated. You are alone. Surrender now. Jake's laugh echoed through our bridge. Extinction Fleet? You guys really have a flair for the dramatic, don't you? And congratulations on the promotion, Kraz. Moving up in the world. Or should I say down, since you are closer to a planet now. I froze. How did he know about my promotion? As for being alone, Jake continued cheerfully, technically true. My colleagues decided they'd rather not be around for your return visit. Something about unnecessary risk and protocol violations. Bureaucrats, am I right? But don't worry, I have got everything handled. You are facing 500 warships, I stated flatly, including 10 planet killers. There will be no escape. Planet killers. Jake sounded genuinely interested. Those sound fun. What do they do? Wait, let me guess, they kill planets. Very creative naming department you have got. High General Drox Vaughn's hologram flickered with rage. Enough of this. Commence the attack immediately. I hesitated just long enough for Jake to speak again. Before you do something we will both regret, well, mostly you, can I ask a question? Did your Emperor send you here to die, or did he genuinely think numbers would make a difference? The question struck me like a physical blow. I had been wondering the same thing since we departed. The Zelaxian Empire does not fear one human, I replied, with more conviction than I felt. Fair enough, Jake sighed. Well, since you came all this way, it would be rude not to give you a proper demonstration. Last time I was just field testing a prototype. This time I brought something with a bit more punch. He made a casual gesture with his free hand. Suddenly, alarms blared across the fleet. On the tactical display, I watched in horror as 20 of our outer perimeter ships simply vanished. What happened? I demanded. Where are they? I have displaced them approximately 100 light-years in that direction, Jake said, pointing vaguely to his left. They are fine, just very confused and about 6 months from home at their top speed. Consider it a timeout. High General Drox Vaughn's hologram flickered as he roared, fire all weapons. Destroy him. The remaining fleet opened fire, hundreds of plasma torpedoes and energy beams converging on the single point where Jake floated. The space around him lit up like a newborn star. When the barrage ended and the energy signatures cleared, Jake remained, sipping calmly from his container. "Was that it?" he asked, sounding genuinely disappointed. "I didn't even have to move. Your targeting systems need serious work." "Impossible," Trell Vorks whispered beside me. "Our sensors confirm direct hits." "Oh, they hit something all right," Jake replied, apparently able to hear our bridge conversations despite the closed channel. "Just not me. I put up a little displacement field. Your weapon's fire is currently raining down on an uninhabited moon in the Andromeda galaxy. They are probably very confused, too." For the first time, real fear gripped our fleet. Ship captains began requesting permission to retreat. High General Drox Von denied them all. "Deploy the planet killers," he ordered. "Target the human directly." The 10 massive ships moved into position, their planet-cracking cannons powering up, each one capable of destroying a world, all aimed at a single human. "Now this is more like it," Jake exclaimed, finishing his drink and making the container disappear with a flick of his wrist. "I was hoping you'd bring out the big guns. Mind if I take a closer look?" Before anyone could respond, he vanished from the view screen. "Where did he go?" I demanded. "Sir," Jex Lara cried out. "Planet Killer 7 reports a human has appeared on their bridge." The tactical display showed chaos erupting across the fleet as Jake apparently teleported from ship to ship, appearing on bridges, in engine rooms, even in the High General's command ship. "Your technology is fascinating." Jake's voice came through all channels simultaneously. "Primitive, but fascinating. Those planet killer weapons, though, a bit excessive. And the security on your computer systems? Practically non-existent. What have you done?" High General Drox Von demanded. "Oh, just a little redecorating. I have taken the liberty of reprogramming your planet killers. Don't worry, they will still fire. Just not at what you intended." To our horror, the 10 planet killers turned, their massive cannons now pointing at the center of our fleet. "You wouldn't," I whispered. "Actually, I wouldn't," Jake agreed, suddenly appearing on our bridge. Everyone jumped back in shock. Up close, he seemed even more casually confident, leaning against a console as if he belonged there. Contrary to what you might think, humans aren't big on genocide, even when it's justified. He looked directly at me. "But you needed to understand the position you are in." "Which is?" I managed to ask. "Outmatched," he said simply. "Not because humans are inherently superior, but because we have learned something your empire hasn't yet, the value of cooperation. This technology? It's not just human. We have been making friends across multiple galaxies for decades, trading ideas. The weapon I used last time? Joint development with a species you have never heard of from. A galaxy you have never visited." He gestured, and a holographic star map appeared, showing thousands of interconnected worlds spanning multiple galaxies. "This is the Alliance," he explained. "Not an empire. Not conquerors. Just different species who realized we are all better off working together than trying to dominate each other." High General Drox Von, who had transported to our ship during the chaos, stepped forward. "The Zylaxian Empire bows to no one." Jake shrugged. "No one's asking you to bow. We are inviting you to join." Big difference. "Join what exactly?" I asked. "A future where we explore the universe together instead of fighting over it," Jake said. "Where we trade knowledge instead of plasma torpedoes." Radical concept, I know. The High General scoffed. "And if we refuse? Then you go home and we establish a defensive perimeter around human space. You stay on your side, we stay on ours, and maybe in a few centuries we try this conversation again when you are ready." Just like that? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "After we tried to kill you? Twice?" Jake laughed. "Krasnul, if I held a grudge against everyone who tried to kill me, I'd have no friends left. It's practically how humans say hello at this point." He snapped his fingers, and the reprogrammed planet killers powered down. "I have sent all the technical specifications of your ships to Earth. By the time you get home, we will have countermeasures for everything in your arsenal. Not to threaten you, just as a simple fact. But I have also included a communication frequency. He handed me a small device. When you are ready to talk instead of fight, use this. Ask for Jake. Or any human, really. We are all pretty chatty. With that, he stepped back and gave a mock salute. This has been fun, but my coffee break ended about 6 hours ago, and my boss is probably wondering where I am. She gets cranky when reports are late. Wait, I called out as he began to fade from view. What was in that container you were always drinking from? Jake grinned. Coffee. Best thing humans ever invented. I will send you some. It might help with those tense diplomatic meetings you have coming up. And then he was gone. 3 galactic months later, I stood before Emperor Zul'Garoth again, but this time as an ambassador rather than a military officer. The Great Council of the Zalaxian Empire had debated for weeks after our return, ultimately voting to open diplomatic channels with the humans and their alliance. Are we making the right decision, Ambassador Krasnol? The Emperor asked, his voice uncharacteristically uncertain. I looked down at the diplomatic pouch I carried, containing cultural exchanges, technological proposals, and a package of something called Sumatra Dark Roast that Jake had specifically requested I deliver to the Emperor. Yes, your luminescence. I believe we are. And these humans, they can be trusted? I thought about Jake, who could have destroyed our entire fleet but chose conversation instead, who had every reason to hate us but offered friendship. They are strange, your luminescence. Unpredictable. Sometimes terrifying. But yes, I believe they can be trusted. More importantly, I believe they are right. The age of empires is ending. The age of alliances has begun. The Emperor nodded slowly. Then open the channel, Ambassador. Let us meet these humans properly. As I activated the communication device Jake had given me, I couldn't help but smile at how dramatically the galaxy had changed. All because one human decided to take a coffee break outside his outpost at exactly the right moment. The screen flickered to life, showing a conference room on Earth. Several humans sat around a table, Jake among them, that ever-present container in his hand. Greetings from the Zalaxian Empire, I began formally. Jake winked at me. Hey Kraz, did you bring the coffee? Some things, it seemed, never changed. And somehow, that was reassuring. Yes, I replied, my mandibles forming what humans might recognize as a smile. And we brought something else too. Questions. Many, many questions. Good, Jake laughed. Questions are where all the best adventures begin. And so began the next chapter in the history of our species, not as conquerors or conquered, but as something far more powerful. Equals.